Welcome back, everybody. I am Marilyn Burnett, your tarot reader and astrologer, back this week for the messages of November 13th, 2023, which is the new moon in Scorpio, which I talked about in detail last week. I will put the link to that recording so that you can go back and take a listen to that for even more details, although I will cover it again today. You may want to go back and look at that in case I don't cover it in as much detail as I did last week. Plus, you have a tarot card last week that was based specifically on the new moon in Scorpio. So go back, take a look at that, and see how this new moon energy is showing up for you. Now, if you're new to my channel, please remember to like, subscribe, comment, share. In the YouTube world, we don't get any messages out there unless people want to see what we're saying. So I thank you for your support. Now, I will have a little fun story this week about Taylor Swift because of the significance of this week and what's happening in her chart. So stay tuned if you're a Swiftie, and even if you're not, you just still may find it really fascinating. So we'll talk about that this week. I'm also going to move the screen for you so that you can see the chart change and what we're talking about this week. Now, as you can see on the chart, it is the moon that is in the sign of Scorpio, but it's already moved past the sun on Monday at the time of this screenshot. Now, the sun and moon are speaking in harmony conjunct with the planet Mars. So what makes this a very passionate, explosive, energetic event is the energy of Mars combining with the sun and moon in Scorpio. Now, Mars was once considered the ruler of Scorpio. It's the traditional ruler before the current day ruler, which is Pluto, was discovered. So there is this real major strength that the planet Mars offers to these new beginnings. Now, Mars is passionate, Mars is a fighter. And this week, Mars will be going through what we consider a rebirth as it has a conversation with the sun. So it takes all week for that conversation, for the heat to build up as Mars moves closer and closer to its alignment with the sun. Now, Mars is fire, right? And the sun is a fire sign. Those two together can make things very hot and very intense and maybe even a bit explosive. So, this new beginning, this transformation, which is what Scorpio energy is all about, is a big one. Now, Scorpio energy is also a very psychological energy. So, for some, this may be something that you experience more on a psychological level. It isn't necessarily something that you see in your outer world. Now, these red lines that we have, and this is Astro Gold that I use, show that there's tension, and the conversation that is tense happens with the planet Uranus. Now, Uranus is a surprising, unexpected planet. It is like lightning. You never know where it's going to strike. And as it sits across the sky in the sign of Taurus, there is something we value that may experience a change, and that creates tension between Uranus, the sun, what we need for success, Mars, how we're motivated, the moon, our emotional security. So when Mars and Uranus are having a difficult discussion, it is very tense. But because it's Uranus, it's also very unexpected. So you just have to expect the unexpected this week because the tension culminates, right, as the new moon is happening. So there is something in the dark, in the reset of the moon, our emotional self, that causes us to make a change. So wherever you have Uranus And wherever you have Scorpio energy in your chart, there is a new beginning about to happen, a rebirth process about to happen because of some tension, because of some unexpected surprise. And whatever that is, just know that it's meant to be, right? This is what is supposed to happen now at this moment and in your life. Taurus energy ruled by Venus, love, money, and it's all about the material world. It's our value systems. It's the things that we put value into. And maybe something that we put value into, suddenly we realize isn't giving back what we had hoped that it would. So that causes a change. But whatever it is, it's a tense moment meant to invite change and meant to invite innovation. Uranus is the nutty professor type of energy. It could be some surprise solution to something, right? Some invention that makes a difference in your life. There's so many ways that this can show up for you. Now, the blue line that you see here being highlighted is what we call a sextile. You can't see it very well here, but there's a little asterisk looking symbol and that represents a sextile. And there's a conversation being had with Mercury in Sagittarius. Now, Mercury isn't strong in Sagittarius. The conversations are a little too big. It enjoys the Gemini energy where the details are small and simple and easy to organize. But this is also the energy of big conversations, important conversations. And they happen with the help of Venus in the sign of Libra, which is about relationships. There can be peace talks. Now, we're seeing already the influence of Venus in Libra having a benefit that's peaceful, right? We saw the actors strike, we're seeing the auto workers strike. All those things are being resolved because Venus in Libra can bring peace, can bring love, can bring solutions that work for both sides, restoring balance, restoring justice. This is legal contracts. This is why Libra is the marriage sign. Now, we also have these other blue lines that meet from the planet Neptune in its home sign of Pisces. And those connect with this new moon. So there is this harmonious energy from Neptune in retrograde, where it spends about half its time each year as an outer planet. Very strong in its home sign of Pisces. And Pisces is the artist. Pisces is the musician. Pisces is the doctor. So there is this gentle, another water sign energy of Pisces that's speaking in harmony with this dark water sign, Scorpio energy of transformation. So both of these signs rule things that are hidden and beneath the surface. There could be something that comes to the surface that helps us create a new beginning. So there is definitely this supportive energy. Now, everybody has a choice. Are you going to tune into the lighter side of this or the darker side of this, right? Which is people making deals beneath the surface and something about those deals, being brought to our attention. But it's meant to help you. A trine, though, you got to apply. It's, if you think about a teeter-totter and you think about that triangle that kind of sits in the middle, the fulcrum point, right? And the teeter-tot doesn't move unless you do something, right? I always remember as a kid, it was fun to try to make it balance, right? You don't move. Each side is perfectly doing what they should do. But for it to move, for you to successfully move it up, right? You have to do something. And that's what this new moon is about. All right. As we move on to Tuesday, we see that there's a long conversation happening. And again, the Sun and Mars are growing in intensity. They're getting closer to one another. And that will continue as the week progresses. They'll still be standing across the sky from Uranus, still some tension. And this conversation between Venus and Mercury continues. In fact, they travel very closely to the same speed. So this is an extended healing conversation that emotionally gets even bigger because of the fact that Mercury will join with the moon in Sagittarius and make connections to Venus in Libra. Now, Sagittarius is a sign of a foreign country, foreign leaders. Maybe there's peace talks between foreign leaders that would have a new beginning, a new rebirth. So there is something hopeful for us on Tuesday as these conversations are happening. So it's something big, it's something that matters, and it's something where the words we use combined with our feelings can make a difference and provide some kind of a blessing. All right. The other things about our emotions when we have the moon in a fire sign is they can get really big. So be prepared for something big and emotional. And again, still something that can surprise us because of the fact that Uranus is still there. All right, let's move on into the energies that we will see as we move into Wednesday. But so sorry about that. Wednesday has a really amazing energy. We have what we call a yod, and at the tip of the yod, which we call a finger of God, we can call it a mission from God, is the planet Jupiter. Now, Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So this is something big. This is something important. Jupiter is a benefic planet. It brings you blessings. But you have to be in alignment with those blessings. And if you're out of alignment, Jupiter will blow things up so that you can see how ridiculous you're being and get the message. Now, Jupiter in Taurus can be financial blessings. It can be a love blessing. It can be something in, material world that's a blessing. But it's based on the past because Jupiter is still retrograde. And I've been talking about this story of the retrogrades, the lunar eclipse. This energy in Taurus has been activated all year long and it's not done yet. In fact, it's not until mid-December where that lunar eclipse point gets activated again that the story really starts to come to a close. But when we have what we call a yod, we have a planet that is in conjunct or quincunx to other planets that are sextile one another, and that's what forms this triangle. Looks like an isosceles triangle or a witch's hat. And it's the blue line at the base, which is the foundation that supports your mission. Well, that foundation is that conversation that's going on that's very harmonious between Mercury and Venus. Also notice that these are all meeting at 8 degrees. And 8 is a number in numerology, which is about strength and leadership, importance, right? So there is something on Wednesday that is bigger than all of us. But individually, you do have this moment, this mission, something that you're meant to accomplish that you will see in a big way, and we'll see the same on the world stage as well. So Wednesday should prove to be a very, very, very interesting day. So take a look at your chart, see where you have this showing up for you. And again, know that when Jupiter and Venus meet, it's a very loving conversation. But something about it, because of these green lines, this quincunx energy, this in conjunct, something about it is strange. The blessing is strange and unexpected. It's still a blessing. It may not feel like it in the moment, but there is definitely something big and important happening in the world and in our lives as a result of this energy and this conversation. Could be interesting relationship news that happens because of the fact that Venus is in the sign of Libra. we will just have to wait and see. And then while Mercury isn't so strong in the sign of Sagittarius because it's opposing its comfort zone energy of Gemini, it's important to use the details to connect the dots to the bigger picture. Now, Jupiter rules Sagittarius, so let's see what all that means. Now, on Thursday, what we see is that Neptune energy is actually finally exactly in conjunct. It's exactly not connected in a way that you would expect with the South Node, and it is exactly connected in a trine to the Sun and Mars, who are now what we call cazimi, conjunct, combust. This is the rebirth moment for Mars as it speaks exactly with the Sun in Scorpio at 24 degrees. Now they'll be together for a couple days really closely, but it's the moment when both the degrees and the minutes are exact that you have the big aha moment for you. Now the Sun, it's some major success that's possible. But that interesting element of the South Node in Libra being activated at the same time is something karmic. It could be a relationship from the past. We have seen since the South Node has moved through Libra, this is where we let go of things, where we may lean on our strengths from the past, but we can't lean on them too much. But we're seeing a lot of divorces. We're seeing a lot of relationships, business relationships. We're seeing tons of legal things coming up about the past, and it's all very karmic. So there could be some big announcement legally, big relationship announcement, but there's some oddness to it as well. And this is a big rebirth, refresh, restart. I think the last time that the Sun and Mars met in this part of Scorpio was back in 1991. So for those old enough, you have a cycle from that time that is coming to a close. It's a journey, it's a mission that's being completed, and then it will start something new for you. So again, what's going on in this area of your chart, what's going on in any other planets that you have that are being activated by this event, especially if you have something exact. So Friday, that energy continues with the Mars and Sun meeting exact here at 25 degrees. So it's a continued conversation. That's why this whole week is so intense. Now, Uranus is still across the sky. It's moved back to 20 degrees, so it's going farther back in its journey. But this big, intense moment, again, between Thursday and Friday, this energy should reach a peak. Now, when the light is back on the moon is when we say you start actually doing things about your new moon intentions. So at the time that this energy is being activated, the light's also coming back onto the moon, and it is time. You will feel very motivated to move something forward in a big way. Now, it's also very explosive energy. Sometimes we need an actual huge bonfire to be lit, which is these two fire elements coming together to make the fire even bigger, to burn through things, right? It is the Phoenix rising moment, and it takes an act of love for those moments to happen. And maybe it's just an act of love towards ourselves. Again, remember, this is a very psychological energy. So maybe this is the time where you finally set yourself free from any psychological burden that you're carrying. You get rid of all those buried and trapped emotions that are keeping you stuck. This is meant to be a powerful moment for you. So, what are you going to do with it? Really make sure that you're sitting with this. Make plans Thursday and Friday where you safely do things. So you don't move too quickly or move too swiftly. So, what is very fascinating and what sent me down a rabbit hole of research is I love looking, of course, at celebrity and famous people's charts because we have things that we can see and understand and uncover because of how, um, public, my mind was stuck, how public their lives are, of course. And what I'm pulling up here is Taylor Swift's chart. So I am predicting something big, some major announcement that happens. Because if you look at the outer ring in this chart now, what you'll see is that Taylor Swift is a Scorpio rising. Of course, we know that she is a major, mega powerhouse of a woman, right? And it's no surprise when you look at her chart because the rising sign is how other people see you. Now, her ascendant at 25 degrees of Scorpio, so how other people see her, how she rises in the world, is being activated by the Sun and Mars conjunction, also exactly at 25 degrees. Also, her Mars is there on her ascendant. This is what makes her so powerful, so strong, right? So we have all of these energies coming together, which means there is some kind of a personal reset happening for Taylor Swift. Now, my prediction is that it is something to do with Travis Kelce because of the fact that his Venus is conjunct her Mars, also exactly at this big moment. So there's big fireworks involving the two of them that will in some way change Taylor Swift's status in the world and how we see her. So, is there an engagement? Is there a pregnancy? What is it? What secret may come to the surface for the two of them? I don't know what it is. I'm not a huge Swiftie person or fan. I'm just a fan of astrology and people's charts. But the connection between those two is very real. When your Venus combines with somebody's Mars, it's an important relationship. And when that relationship takes place on your ascendant in your first house of how people see you, it's no wonder this is a very public relationship for the two of them. So there's something about them surprising, unexpected. Remember, we still have Uranus across the sky, um, shaking things up. Wow, more Taylor Swift things. You can't make this stuff up. Um, so it will be interesting. I'm fascinated. As I'm sure many of you are, to see what this week means. Of course, we know he's already traveled back with her for her concert in his off week. So this will be just really interesting to see what this is and what this power couple, which is Scorpio energy, ends up bringing to light for all of us. Um, Her chart in general is pretty fascinating, and maybe someday I'll do a little class or session about it because she is fascinating astrologically to me and the life that she has led. So, all right, I know I hate making public predictions, but I am putting myself out there, and we shall see what we shall see, obviously, by the end of this week. Now, of course, it could be a secret, right? This is Scorpio energy. Maybe it won't be in the public eye, but I imagine that it will. All right, as we end the week, still traveling closely together will be that South Node in Libra, having that interesting conversation with Neptune and Pisces. So they will continue. We'll see that the Sun begins to move away from Mars, but still things are hot. Things are still very intense. We still see that continued conversation between Mercury and Venus. And then we have some hope for healing. With the moon in Aquarius, which is we the people energy, there is something that connects us, right? And the connection comes through Chiron, the healer. And in Aries, what Chiron's been trying to help us heal is our personal wounds, our need for self-confidence, for independence, for strength and power. So there's something that is emotionally healing. It's we, the people energy. We are coming together to heal somewhere, somehow. So there's something really hopeful here. Now, Chiron is also in retrograde. So this is a pain from the past that is, very personal to us. The Aquarius energy, I call it like our tribe. And where the moon is what we need to feel safe and secure. And we need to feel like we are making a difference. We need to feel like we belong, that we fit in. So there's something emotionally that combined makes us feel better or feel good. So hopefully, again, that there's more efforts to move us forward this week, to let us all heal individually and together, so that this week ends on, a really positive, harmonious note. No matter how it ends, it's definitely going to be an intense energy. So if you're looking at your chart, we're about to transition to doing our tarot card readings. And each week I talk about the tarot. I say, make sure you watch for your sun, moon, and rising. Now, this chart shows somebody in the first house with their rising sign in Sagittarius. Now, what if you have your sun and moon in the same sign? Then you're only reading two cards, right, instead of three. That just makes the messages more intense. Somebody asked me that this week in a session. What does that mean if I only get to look at two? And I'm like, well, it just means the two that you are reading is a more intense message. It's even more important when you have planets that are in the same sign and in the same house. The energy is coming together for a bigger purpose, and you need all of them working together and combined in order for you to reach your purpose. So there's definitely an intensity to that. So let's tune in and let's transition into looking at what the very interesting tarot card reading messages are for your sun, moon, and rising. And that's coming up right now. Welcome everybody. This is our tarot reading portion of the video. If you by chance skip this amazing astrology lesson of the week, go back and watch it because I make an interesting Taylor Swift prediction and you don't want to miss it. But as usual, we are going to get started. I asked for a message this week about what rebirth, what transformation, what do we need to know about the big changes that are coming for each sign this week. And so let's tune in and take a look. So the big changes coming in for you this week, Aries. Aries, this has to do with things involving the money you make. This is the Eight of Earth, also known as the Eight of Pentacles. There's more attention to detail. There's more studying to be done. So maybe this week you feel a strong urge to go back to school, to do something that'll help you refine your craft, whatever that is, because the Pentacles are about the money we make. Now, the 8 is a number of strength and leadership. So maybe this education is needed for you to be able to grow and advance in your career. So this is a big change for you, Aries, that happens to be in your 8th house as well. So we have double eight meaning message, right? So it's a big, powerful week for you. And whatever this is the energy of transformation. This is a Phoenix rising moment for you. So it's a big deal. And I can't wait to see what those changes end up being for you. Now, the 8 is an infinity symbol. So there's infinite possibilities of how this can show up for you. Make sure on Monday you're setting your transformation goals for yourself about what you want to be able to change. All right, let's move on to the sign of Taurus. All right, Taurus. No surprise we're getting lots of earth energy with all of this stuff that's going on with Jupiter in the sign of Taurus and our mission from God. So you, Taurus, have something new to start. Page of Earth can be a message about a job. It can be a message about finances. It could be a financial offer that comes to you, which would be good news for you this week. So that's really positive, especially if you're looking for a new opportunity as far as money making goes. Pages are very youthful, immature energy though, so this one's going to take a little time to fully develop. So make sure that you give it time and don't just jump in head first or feet first here. You want to make sure that you stay grounded and allow this opportunity the time that it will need to mature. Now, maybe this is a new relationship or a business partnership, because for you, this rebirth energy is happening in your 7th house of serious relationships. So it's a powerful time for creating powerful relationships, or for having a new beginning in the relationships that you currently have if you're not looking for a new one. But it's a beautiful new opportunity. The court cards all carry the energy of the One. So it's a pretty amazing new beginning for you. I can't wait to hear what that is. All right, Gemini. I promise you, I do not set these cards up like this. Another Earth card. So this is the 3 of Earth, or 3 of Pentacles. And that suggests that this new beginning, this rebirth for you, happens as a result of someone else. This is a mentor. This is an expert. This is somebody who comes in to guide you, or who you go to for advice. So there is somebody else that affects what's going to change, what has you feeling motivated this week to make a big change. And it could be in your career, because of the fact that the Earth energy is about Pentacles and it's about making money. So this is a really positive energy for you, Geminis. This isn't a complete surprise, because this rebirth process does happen in your 6th house, which rules the work that we do. So something positive, somebody else who plays a role in whatever that change is. And the 3 energy from a numerological perspective is about our creator. It is about creating with the help and guidance of a mentor. And so there is this big opportunity. And if you want to call it in, work with the earth. This is a good time for working in the garden, for replanting, for hiking, for getting yourself grounded and allowing that inspiration to come in as well. All right, can't wait to hear, Geminis, what that is for you. As we move to Cancer. Cancers, you have the 9 of Fire, also known as the 9 of Wands. So there is a heavy burden that you have been carrying And it is something about that burden that you feel obligated to complete. But once you complete it, then that's when your transformation will happen. So of course, this is a fire energy. We're talking about the sun and Mars coming together, creating even more fire. So this is a pretty intense week. And whatever it is, right, this is going to be your Phoenix rising moment. So don't give up. No matter how intense it gets or feels, no matter how heavy that burden is, keep going. This is not the time to stop when you're almost at the top. You want to keep going forward, keep pushing up over the hill, because when you're done, right? The 9 is the energy of completion and endings. So don't quit. Keep pushing forward. Now you have this happening in your 5th house. The 5th house is about our creativity. It is the house that's actually ruled by the sun. This is something that you feel very successful doing. It can have to do with romance. Now, a romance could come to an end that feels like a burden, or the burden in the current romance could come to an end, and then the romance itself could go through a rebirthing process, right? So this is the ability, right, to let go of those things that don't bring you joy and focus your energy and time and attention in on those things that will. So very interesting week for you, Cancers, and can't wait to hear what that is for you. Leo, more earth energy. So, and this one is the 4 of earth, also known as the 4 of pentacles. And so this is your relationship with money, maybe your relationship with money and family that is going to go through some kind of a big change. 4 of earth energy can have you feeling like almost too grounded, like too stuck, too fixed in your approach, and that, you know, it isn't serving you well. You're too standoffish, you're too solid. And there's something about that needs to change. You need to open yourself up a bit more. But whatever you tear down, right? Whatever this foundation is that you've built for yourself that's a little bit rocky, it can be rebuilt stronger. That 4 number is a number of foundations. It's at the bottom of our chart. It's the bottom of your chair, right? It's having all 4 corners, right, being strong and stable. So there's some financial stability that can be rebuilt for you this week. That's really important. It might have to do again with home and family. That is the number associated with home and family is the number 4. So it is going to be a big change, maybe instigated by family, but you're stronger for it. So be happy and thankful for the experience, because this also happens in your 4th house. So there's definitely an element of home and family that is going to influence your rebirth this week. Maybe you're making a big, huge move. That could definitely be something that changes for you this week. But financially, maybe somebody in your family wins big, right? That would affect you as well. So interesting week ahead, Leos. Let me know how that goes. Virgos. All right, Virgos, you have the Ace of Air, also known as the Ace of Swords. This is a big idea that is coming through for you, and whatever this idea is, it could change everything. So it could be a big creative idea. The aces, we call them the hands from God, right? They're reaching down through the clouds. This is even showing, you know, this is a bit of a miraculous gift, right? Coming down from the heavens here on Pegasus, right? So this is a big moment for you this week. And the aces, of course, all carry new beginnings. And of course, we have the new moon at the beginning of the week. So this is a big idea. and a big conversation that heads you off into a completely new direction. Now, this also, speaking of ideas, happens in your third house. This is the house of writing and communicating and teaching, right? Sharing with others. It's your community. So there is a really interesting event that maybe it inspires a class that you want to teach, a book you want to write, whatever it is. I can't wait to hear it. And since I'm a Virgo rising, I'm very curious about that as well. Libras. All right, Libras, you are the first to have a major arcana card this week, and it's the Hierophant. Now, this is about traditions. It can be a marriage. It can be an important relationship. So this is definitely a advisor, right? That comes in and has this big opportunity for you. Maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a business contract, maybe it's a marriage. This is traditionally something that we see as a good sign when we're looking at relationship readings. There's definitely something this week for you legally binding that can happen. Now, this is the number 5, and the 5 brings in big changes. So there can be a big change in the status of your relationships. And maybe it is something to do with a business contract because of the fact that this happens in your second house of the money that you make. If you've been looking for a job opportunity, you may be getting a big offer this week from somebody who is really important at the top of the house. It's definitely about traditions. So this will be interesting for you with the second house and the money that you make, and this being a major arcana card. It's definitely a big change in how you make money. So I can't wait to hear what that is for you, Libras. Scorpios. Oh, Scorpios have magic. I love it. Another major arcana card and the number 1. So Scorpios, no surprise here, right? This is all this big energy, this rebirth is happening in your first house, the house of self. And it's obviously very strong since we also drew in the Magician, the major arcana card of the number 1. And this is about you creating the magic this week, you changing the direction of your life, you using all your tools that you have available to you. So this is a life transforming big change this week, and you're welcome, Taylor Swift. So I don't know what this little mini obsession I have about her is, but as a Scorpio rising, there is definitely something big changing, and you're aligned with her, Scorpio. So this will be really interesting to see. So number 1, major arcana, huge, life-changing, big transformations are possible for you this week. So set your intentions carefully. Know that you are the creator of your life. You're the one with the magic skills and tools and abilities. Use them for good. And let me know how it goes. Next, we have Sagittarius, another major arcana card. And in this deck, it's considered temptation. It is traditionally the devil card. And you can't not think of the underworld and not think about the devil. So there is this ability this week for you to break free from things that have you stuck. And these are usually things that the ego tells you you have to have when you actually don't. So there is this moment where you can become unchained and set yourself free. It's a big, big week for you, Sagittarius. Now, this is a perfect week if you are somebody who struggles with things from a psychological basis, right? Where you can release any of those subconscious blocks that you have that
keep you living in fear, keep you trapped and stuck in the past, keep you trapped and stuck with, past karma, that it's just time to let it go. Now, the nice thing about the 15 energy is it becomes the number 6. And 6 is a very loving, joyful, happy energy, as long as you're not overindulging, right? So be prepared to break free and be this Phoenix rising moment this week. And it happens in your 12th house. Now, the 12th house can bring things to the surface. The 12th house is large institutions like hospitals and prisons, large companies and organizations. So there could be, let's say you work for a large organization. Maybe you're tempted to make a change, or maybe you feel like you can't, that there's things that keep you stuck and trapped working for the current company. And then something happens this week where you realize that isn't necessarily the case, and that you no longer need to stay stuck where you're at. So, wow, big energy, big change, big transformation. Maybe it's hidden and beneath the surface, but whatever happens, you suddenly feel set free by the end of the week. Capricorn. Oh, Capricorns. So we have the 3 of air, which is also the 3 of swords. So there is something that used to hurt, used to cause you a lot of pain. And maybe it currently does. Maybe this has just happened for you. But the thing about the 3 of swords is, no matter what the pain is or was, now you have an opportunity to heal. You have an opportunity to take that pain and turn it into something beautiful. That's a huge transformation. You make that transformation by connecting to the creator, to creation, to being creative this week. All those things with that energy of the 3 is what will help you to heal. The other thing that may help you to heal is your friends. This is happening in your 11th house, which is our friends, our networking groups, our tribe, where we go, make a difference. Maybe this is an important friend who helps you heal, or it's an important friend that gives you an opportunity, that maybe just a conversation with that person that changes your mind about something, right? That air energy is about talking and communicating and discussions being had that allow you a sense of freedom going forward. So it is a big, intense energy, but the good news is, on the other side of this pain for you is a whole new world waiting, and you want to let that in. All right. Aquarius. I guess we're into the swords energy now, with the second one in a row, and this is the 5 of swords. Now, this is a message always about picking your battles. Now, it could be just people around you are fighting and they're trying to draw you in. Don't let that happen. This could be a battle that you're having within yourself, in your own mind, that you're creating that is not real. But whatever battles you're fighting this week, make sure you choose carefully, because otherwise, I always consider this as a card where nobody wins. And even if you do win, you don't feel good about it after the fact. It might feel good in the moment, but when you look back over the wasteland that you have created by lashing out and telling people off, and it all feels good in the moment, but later it's not so good. So be careful about that. That 5 energy does invite change in this week, so that is good. This could get you out of something that you've been fighting with or for or about. This has something to do with work, your career, your status, maybe even your marriage. This is happening in your 10th house. So whatever this fight is, it could lead to a major change in your career path. And in the end, that's a good thing. But in the moment, it might feel extremely challenging this week. And last but not least, we have Pisces. All right. This is a nice way to end the cards for the week with the World card. So Pisces, whatever journey you have been on, it is ready to come to an end. So this is a culmination of your rebirth process, wherever you have been working on this with yourself. So again, we have a lot of threes this week, meaning it's, really important that we have faith, that we stay connected in our faith of what is possible, that we get creative, that we get communicative. But this is a quest, this is a journey. This is the last card of the major arcana, which means the Fool, you have finished your quest. You've gained all the knowledge that you need, and the goal that you set for yourself is ready to come to an end. So congratulations, whatever that is for you, Pisces. This is happening in your 9th house. The 9th house is about growth and expansion. It's seeing the bigger picture. It could be studying abroad, learning a foreign language. Maybe you're about to graduate. I don't know, maybe some of you are completing an MBA or something of a higher level of degree and knowledge. It's really an important week for you, where you will be reborn stronger than ever before. So again, I can't wait to hear what your stories are for the week. Another excellent week of readings, of course, that always have me curious as I pull a card for each one of the signs, because of course I always have my clients in mind, my friends, my family, myself, and think, ooh, so interesting. So do you want to get ready for 2024? Because I have an in-depth reading for you where we will look at the entire year ahead, a bit high level, but the details will be in all the new moons, the full moons, and the eclipses that we have in 2024, as well as looking at all the major planetary shifts and changes that will happen for you. If so, now's the time. I always find about the 60-day mark before a big transition, whether it's your solar return chart, which I say about 2 months before your birthday, you'll start to see clues of what is going to shift for you in the year ahead. And the same is true for this transition as we move from 2023 into 2024. So I have a big in-depth 2-hour session where we can start to take a look and get you prepared to plan accordingly. The whole point about knowing astrology is using it to help yourself, and then you showing up to meet the energy. Do not sit back and wait, because it doesn't happen that way. Yes, sometimes it does, and trust me, most of the time that's not a good thing. But when you show up to meet the energy, when you plan with the energy, which is why I have my Sip and Stars group, is because we are meeting once a month to prepare how to interact with the new moon. So if cost is an issue for you, join my new moon circle. It's $11.11 a month. Everybody can afford $11.11 a month. You can have one less coffee a month and afford coming to this session. And I teach you astrology, and I teach you a personal lesson in life along with the astrology, as well as read some of your charts. So whatever it is that you need, I hope I am here to help and support you. If you have ideas on new ways that I can do that in the new year, please let me know. Give me a message, post here, make comments. My purpose is to help you learn and grow. So help me help you do that. All right. Cheers to an exciting week ahead. I can't wait to see how it goes for all of us. And again, I'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.